So guys, what's been happening with you? It's been a long time no see. We got a troopy troop. To be honest with you, I've made this video probably 3 times now, this being the 3rd, and I'm just getting really annoyed with GoPro. I swear, one of the things that GoPro does is just like make their stuff unnecessarily obsolescent as fast as they possibly can, so you buy the next camera. And like, I got these cameras, like the one that I'm wearing on my face right now isn't even like 2 years old, and the one down here below is like 3, and it's already jacked up and it barely works and whatnot, so it's just so annoying. But anyway guys, welcome to today's video. I will be your gracious host Paramoto, as always and forever. Today I want to talk about gun control. I know just saying gun control on YouTube is like saying bomb on an airplane. Bomb, 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 bomb. You can't say bomb on an airplane. But to be totally honest with you, I don't really care. I want to talk about it. There's been a lot of high profile things happening with guns. There's been shootings, there's been other things and whatnot. And where is this person holding the sign? Where is that person holding that? They're just holding a sign for no reason. You know, but I want to talk about it because I am an avid gun person. Avid, very avid. I love guns, but I also, to be completely honest with you, I see both sides. I'm able to see both sides of this argument. So guys, like I said, I can see both sides of this argument here, and I'm not here to like gobble down the nuts of either side. I am a little bit more conservative, and I am a gun person, so that probably gives you an idea of where I'm going to lean, but I'm going to really try to be very objective here on this argument. So what I say first and foremost is that the Second Amendment guarantees us the right to have guns. There's really no actual like limitation in the Second Amendment on what guns we can own. And this is just off the top of my head. I didn't study it all, but I'm pretty sure the Second Amendment says a well-regulated militia being necessary for the free state, the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's just off the top of my head. That is very unlimited. But I will say off the rip that there is no constitutional amendment that isn't without some due regulations and some limits. No amendment is absolute. Use the classic example, although we have the right to the freedom of speech, you can't yell, fire in a movie theater because you'll induce panic. And to go furthermore and not be as boilerplate as most people, you also cannot entice somebody to fight by using abusive language. That's called disorderly conduct. Most states have a disorderly conduct regulation. And in North Carolina, it is literally just that. It is disorderly conduct by abusive language. So if you call somebody a racial slur, it would probably fall underneath disorderly conduct by abusive language. Holy shit, Tacoma. That being said, there is no right that is absolute. Look at your 4th Amendment rights. The government does not have a right to come in and take or seize your property without a warrant. And that's the exception right there, is that there needs to be a warrant. Oh my God, stop creeping. I will also add on the fact that I don't believe any gun law has ever made us more safe. Pretty sure that is 100% factual and accurate. No gun law has ever made us more safe. The 1994 crime law that pretty much banned AR-15s did nothing to stop Columbine, If you guys would stop creeping, I would stop slowing down and rev bombing you. So like, when it comes down to it, I don't believe gun laws really affect anything when it comes down to crime. And that's because criminals do not care about your laws. Like I said, I'm going to try to be objective. I'm going to try to be both-sided on this. I'm going to try to be bi-sided, if you will. I'm going to fall into the LGBTQ community and be bi-sided on this topic. Although I am a staunch Second Amendment person, although I love guns and I own over 10, I recently bought an AK-47 and built an AR-10. Building AR-15s is a constant hobby of mine. I love it. I'll be honest with you, if somebody came up to me and said, hey, there'll never be another school shooting again if we put regulations on the Second Amendment, I'd be like, okay, I'm willing to listen to them. And the biggest reason is because I'm not heartless, I'm not soulless. I don't think any child should have to worry about being murdered, especially not at school. So if they said like, hey, we're gonna add some regulations to the Second Amendment, it's gonna stop all school shootings, guaranteed, no questions asked, I'd be like, okay, I'm willing to listen to some addendums to the Second Amendment. Okay, I would be. I don't believe that there's really a perfect solution to this problem, but I think one of the biggest problems that we have in the gun control argument is that literally both sides are just spewing out whatever nonsense they want to spew out, and there's really no actual discussion or argument going on about the whole topic, because nobody can like actually think for themselves, and nobody can actually like come up with a good idea on their own, and they're just spewing out the propaganda of their like respected parties, you know. And like maybe we need to come to some sort of middle ground, some sort of compromise, you know. And I think one of those compromises, and I know that there's no perfect solution to this problem, I think one of the biggest things we can do is empower the people in our society that are the smartest, right? The doctors, the psychiatrists, and stuff like that. I think they need to be empowered. If you guys don't already know this, a doctor can actually take away your rights. A doctor can confine you to a mental health facility without your consent or permission. You can have a trial about it, but it's called involuntary commitment, and a doctor can commit you to a mental hospital or at least get a mental health evaluation without any of your consent needed. As much as I would say that that's not the absolute end-all solution to this problem, is empowering doctors, I think it's a good start, right? So I just want to use the example, and these are extreme examples, but I'll use the example of the Aurora, Colorado movie theater shooter and also Adam Lanza, right? Two people constantly underneath mental health evaluation and treatment, right? You know, the dude that shot up the movie theater in Aurora, Colorado told his psychiatrist more than once that he wanted to kill people, and that psychiatrist did nothing. She or he did absolutely nothing, and pretty much, you know, is not responsible for the shooting, but I mean, she could have probably stopped it. She probably could have. And I think one of the solutions to these horrific shootings is to probably go ahead and empower the people like psychiatrists that are taking care of Adam Lanza's and Aurora shooters, you know, in the future. Empower them and give them more authority. And you know what? This is one thing that is not pro-gun. This is one thing that is completely out of the left. But I'll be honest with you, I think we need to expand some red flags for specific circumstances and for specific time periods. And I think it would empower the right people, and it would also take away gun rights from the correct people as well. Because right now, like I said, I don't think any gun law works, and I think it's because they're blanket gun laws that apply to everybody. Criminals don't care for them. They're easily circumvented, and I mean, for the most part, they only affect the law-abiding citizens. That's really the only people that are affected by gun laws, is law-abiding citizens. And I think red flag laws, fully regulated, would be a better and a more surgical device to take away people's gun rights that do not need them. Let's just say you're Adam Lanza, right? You're just a crazy bastard. You're on the autism spectrum. Shit, you are not on the autism spectrum. You are the autism spectrum. You're the whole damn color wheel, right? If you are Adam Lanza's psychiatrist, right? What if when Adam Lanza comes and sees you, you go, wow, this guy is probably going to be dangerous. Maybe I need to submit a form to the government that says, like, hey, you know, if this guy comes in for a background check, a 4473, go ahead and restrict his rights to guns. You know, go ahead and, you know, not grant the transfer. You know, and we could, you know, set it up so it would be like, you know, for specific reasons and for a specific time frame, and things have to be revisited because they are right. So let's just say, you know, you're the psychiatrist treating Adam Lanza. If you just went ahead and you submitted a form like, hey, this person is dangerous to people around them, go ahead and restrict his gun rights for a period of 2 years, at which time it has to be reevaluated. And if it's not reevaluated in 2 years, then like it just goes away or something along those lines. You know, what if something like that happened? You know, so like, let's just say you're the Aurora, Colorado movie theater shooter. Let's just say you're that guy, and you're going into the office and you're telling that person that you want to kill people over and over again. It was more than one time, and she didn't do anything. What if that person just said, hey, this person cannot own a gun? They submitted that form. That person is not allowed to own a gun for a period of 2 years until they respond favorably to treatment, or they're no longer homicidal or suicidal. You know, what if they did that? You know, I think that's a really good option, and I think that is a good compromise. Honestly, I think that gun laws and everything are ridiculous, and honestly, like, I kind of wish that it was just like a free-for-all. I wish that we could just have buy whatever you want whenever you want, but I don't think we live in that time frame anymore, because I think, you know, when it comes down to it, there's so many people on medications, there's so many people on medications for so long that we don't live in the America that was, you know, originally intended by our forefathers.
You know, we got a lot of very unstable people in and around our society, and I think we're creating them for the most part. I think that's a very good compromise, is allowing people that already have these rights to a certain extent just a little bit further for specific circumstances so they can't be abused, you know, or at least we can, you know, make sure that they're, you know, not abused for the most part. You know, and I'd be honest with you, I wouldn't be completely against having that regulation for everybody. Let's just say every couple of years, if you want to buy a gun, you have to go talk to a shrink, and that shrink's got to confirm that you're not homicidal or suicidal, right? Let's just say that happens, you know, but I would want something in return. What I would want in return is no regulations whatsoever on my gun rights. You know, if I go and talk to a shrink and that shrink's like, yeah, this guy's probably stable, you can probably give him a gun, you know, then I want to be able to go buy an M4, full auto, fun switch, suppressor, everything, without having to spend 30 grand. You know, I think that is a fair trade-off. So I'll definitely say one thing. This might not be the perfect solution. This might not even be a good solution. But one thing that we don't have in this country is the ability to talk to each other anymore. I think that's our biggest problem. I don't think mental health care, I don't think guns, I don't think that's our biggest problem. I think our biggest problem is the fact that we just straight up cannot talk to each other anymore. You know, like, if we have this, like, brief discussion with one another and somebody's on the left and I'm on the right, it just turns into a shouting match. Or, like, somebody calling the other one a communist and the other one being called a fascist. And it's like, there's no growth happening in this country anymore. You know, like, I think one of the biggest things is gun control and crime are used as a hot button topic to essentially distract us from the major issues. The major issues that our government sucks and they're pretty much just raping us nonstop, and, you know, a Congress position is pretty much just a position to get into insider trading and make millions of dollars instead of actually serving the people. I think the biggest thing, guys, when it comes down to gun control and the gun control argument and what we should do and what we should not do is, I think the biggest thing is that we should at least realize that, you know, we need to be civil and be able to discuss with one another. We need to realize that the news is not our friend, and their job is not to report the news, but to sell advertisement, and that, you know, pretty much to turn off CNN, to turn off Fox News, and generate your own opinion. Generate your own opinion on things. Guns are not evil. People are not evil. The combination of both can sometimes be bad. Mental health care is a huge problem in this country. We got these people like Lanza that are just on anti-psychs for like forever, you know, and it's just, it should be a red flag. You know, being on antipsychotics should be a red flag, to be honest with you, you know. And, you know, I'll close with this one thing, and as soon as I know I'm not going to be killed by this guy, I want to close with this one thing, okay? And that's a stat that keeps on coming up that I think is complete lies and complete you know, pretty much disinformation. And that is when people use the fact that X amount of people die every year from gun violence. See, that number is hyper-conflated, and most of the numbers, and I looked it up, okay, I confirmed, the last FBI stats that I saw were in 2019. And it was the fact that 48,000 people died every year from gun violence. Yes, that is true, okay? But over 30,000 of them, so let's just say 38,000 just for big round numbers, are suicides, which is a complete misinformation campaign by the left. You said that traffic accident fatalities accounted for 48,000 deaths, and it's the leading cause for and it's the leading cause for children being homicided or whatever. You'd be like, wow, we really need to do something different. But then when you find out that 38,000 of those deaths are people intentionally driving their cars into bridge abutments, you'd probably realize that it's not as big of a problem as we think we have, you know? And one death is too many, but honestly, those numbers are complete lies. I'd be very intrigued to know what the number of the last 10,000 are gang and drug violence, and how many actual homicides happening that are, you know, cold-blooded homicides that we're led to believe. You know, I think the number is very low, and I think both sides are using these numbers for their own gain. And, you know, just wake up to the stats, wake up to the lies, you know. Anyway, guys, that's it for today's video. Deuces.